in my head, I'm already thinking, yeah, I probably take the Warriors or Lakers, who are the 10th and ninth seed, over the one seed. So for that, I have to put them in the pretenders. Um, Someone who everyone's putting in pretenders, but I'm gonna put in contenders is OKC. Um, I know you don't believe in them. I know you don't believe in Shy, but I don't know. I've just seen too many stats about like reasons why they are good, and I've just seen them dismantle teams, even when teams are literally executing their game plan perfectly. That I just can't not believe in them. And I think even like uh, their core has had a decent amount of experience, even though they are young. Like, I know like Chad hasn't played in it. Um, but they still went to the play-in even though they lost last year. But then even then, like Shy and Lou Dort, some of two are like probably like five most valuable players, got to play in like a game seven, even though they ended up ultimately losing. But they got to play in a game seven with like, Chris Paul against Russ and Harden. So, moments like that where it's like even just a little bit of opportunity gives them a chance to get in there. I don't really know how many teams I really think from the East are actual contenders. I think they're more like a gray space. I think the Bucks are definitely pretenders, even though they have around the same record as the Cavs. The Bucks are just not even when you hear their own players speak about it, they're not playing up to how they should be playing. I think a lot of people thought they'd probably be the number one seed, but they're barely holding on to third right now. So I don't know. OKC, OKC and the Nuggets and the Clippers are probably some of my like top three contenders, honestly.
Okay. I know we were going into pretenders in the Western Conference and everything. I thought we were just doing a little Eastern
I mean,
Conference contenders first.
I didn't have a split up like you, but yeah, that was just. I mean, I didn't really have too many like pretenders for all of it because I feel like to be a pretender, you have to be considered a contender by a decent amount of people, but like I don't see you in that way, and I don't
Yeah.
see too many people as actual contenders.
I've got the Bucks and the Knicks as pretenders. I think a lot of people are high on the Knicks, even though they don't have Randall right now. But I just don't think they're ever going to be a successful franchise. They always choke in the playoffs. Um, I do think they could upset the team though. Like I think they could give someone like Boston some trouble, like I said. And then I put the Bucks down just because the Bucks are not what people thought they were years ago. They're not the same team. Giannis is starting is fine, but like realistically, everyone else on that team is old. They got rid of Drew Holiday, so I don't really know what they're trying to do over there, but it's not winning a championship.
Yeah, I mean, like I was honestly watching a video about this earlier, and even though their defensive stats say it, I don't really know how much has honestly changed from Griffith to Doc Rivers. Um, I don't know if I really think about the Bucks before and the Bucks now as two different teams. Like honestly, I have not seen that drastic of a change in the team. They're still losing games that they should probably still be winning. Dame's still not playing defense. Malik Beasley's still not playing defense. They're still playing drop coverage with Brook Lopez. Like literally all of the problems that they had for why they fired their coach at the beginning of the season, they still have. And I know people are going to be like, well, Doc Rivers, their defense has been slightly better and they've been able to like get fast break points and limit transition buckets. And I'm like, that's good. And like that definitely is a foundation of something. But when you have a star player and another starter in Malik Beasley who refuse to play defense, no matter even if you have two generational defensive talents on the floor with Giannis and Brook Lopez, it's just not going to work. Like
Yeah,
teams are going to get to the playoffs and they're going to see Dame and Malik Beasley and they're going to be like, okay, we're going to make both of y'all each be involved in a pick and roll 40 times. So then they're going to be like smashing into the centers the whole entire game, and then they got to come down and still play offense. Teams are going to wear Dame and Malik Beasley out doing that. So I think either Malik and Dame are going to have to take a challenge and commit to actually being that point of attacker and getting some steals and causing some early offense. They're turning defense into offense for the team, but I just don't know how realistic that is. I mean, I feel like Dame and Malik Beasley are both players who have the capabilities to play defense. They're just obviously not. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how Doc does it. I don't think Doc changes anything,
He doesn't
which
know how
makes me
to.
think even if Doc does bad, like do you fire him?
Maybe depends on how they get bounced out. If they get bounced on the first round, you have to. I feel like.
But then that means you just fire three coaches in the span of 1 year.
Yeah, but is Doc a long term kind of guy or is he a short term kind of guy? I feel like he's someone you come in that has experience to try and get y'all like through like a push.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, I would assume if they win, they they would plan to keep him for multiple years.
That'd be interesting. I don't know.
I don't know. Bucks are pretenders though, definitely. I'm glad we both can agree on that.
And then in the Western Conference, I had contenders as the Clippers being number one, the Chicken Nuggets as being number two, and the Phoenix Suns is number three.
The
I,
Suns,
I
interesting.
the Suns just have so much talent that I think they'll be able to get them like to bail them out for a while. I don't know if they're like contenders in the sense they can win the championship, but they're definitely contenders in the chance that they can take you to the Western Conference Finals and they can take you to seven. Like they have so much talent. They've got okay coaching, and I don't know. That's just a team you don't really want to play. They have a ton of playoff experience as well. Um, and then Clippers are self-explanatory. We talked all year about them and how they've been playing so well. So that's not always a surprise. Nuggets again, they won last year and they had the same team virtually. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I agree with the Clippers. I agree with the Suns as a dark horse contender. My only problem with the Nuggets is not like I mean, like you said it. What the only difference from last year is really Bruce Brown's gone. But they still have the same problems. Is when Jokic isn't on the floor, they're horrible, and when Jokic is on the floor, they're amazing. And not that like Jokic isn't going to be playing a lot in the playoffs. Bro's probably going to be averaging around 40 minutes of the 48, but it's more so it's just like in those 8 minutes, who's going to go out and go get them a bucket? Like they need at least one of those guys on the bench to step up. And the thing is, all their best bench players are defensive guys, not offensive guys. Um, I think the best offensive person they have on their bench is Julian, like Strawther, however you say his name. But even then,
never
he's
heard
been
of them.
injured. He played at Gonzaga.
Never heard of them.
If you don't know, but I don't know. They just their bench isn't good, so it'll be interesting to see what their how they fix that and how Mike Malone addressed it. And maybe he just addressed it by saying, you know what, we're gonna have two people off the bench who are like, but then other than that, it's just gonna be chugging along with your starting lineup. Which I mean, all the coaches do it. Look at Tibbs. Um, and then like you said, Clippers. We talked about them. I feel like the Suns. When you think about the Suns, you think, okay, well, they have Devin Booker and KD. I believe you have Devin Booker and KD, you should go far places. So I agree that they are contenders. Um, I don't know. It'll be interesting. And they got Royce O'Neal now. Bol starting to play better. Maybe Bradley Bill actually decides to be worth his contract. We'll see. I'm interested to see this these playoffs because there's so many teams that have question marks more so than answers. I feel
Yeah,
like there's I feel like there's really only like I mean, I think the Nuggets are a pretty clear team where you're like, they are who they are. Like, they're an okay. They're yeah, honestly okay. I mean, like to what you would expect of them. There's a pretty good regular season team that turns it on even more during the postseason. Um, and then maybe the other known. I wouldn't even say that. Like, I mean, I guess the Celtics are known, but it's more so just like, will they actually be able to get over that hump? And then maybe like not even the Warriors because they've like completely turned their team around in these past, and then maybe the Lakers, but they're a 10th seed. I feel like literally everyone else who's even in the play-in and in the playoffs have so many question marks of okay, you've been decent in the regular season, but not too many teams have had actual playoff experience and or have had continued playoff experience and success. So it's going to be like seeing like can teams, add the extra piece? Can teams even like compete? I mean, because I think like a team like Orlando who started off so hot this year, but it's kind of slowed down and it's kind of just in the middle of the pack of the East. It's like if they make it to the playoffs, like do you think they can even win one playoff series? In my head, I mean, they're a good defensive team. They have two decent stars, a decent like I'm like maybe. And then even there's the Pelicans where with a healthy Zion and Brandon Ingram. I mean, look how far they were able to go against the Suns, who made it to the Western Conference Finals when they didn't have like Zion at all. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Um, I mean, like I said, teams like OKC, who I believe is a contender, even then, I feel like there's still a question mark around them of okay, we see y'all can do it in regular season, but what does it look like in the playoffs when teams start playing you a little bit differently than they've been playing you during the regular season, and maybe playing you a little bit more tougher? Like, how well will they respond to it? Um, same with same with the Timberwolves. Will Rudy Gobert and Cat find a way to work in the playoffs together? I think
No,
that's one of the most interesting stories. You don't think so?
no, I had them as pretenders as well.
Okay. I,
I had them and the
yeah,
Thunder as pretenders.
that's fair. I mean, I just think there's a lot. This playoffs is going to be a lot more question answering than more so like proving people right or wrong.
Yeah, okay, I can give it that. I don't know. Only reason I put the Thunder as pretenders is because, like you said, there's no experience. But I mean, sometimes you don't really need that. And I mean, if you're good enough to win that many games, surely it shouldn't be that much of an issue. I know we saw that it was an issue with the Cavs last year, but I mean that Knicks team was just gritty, and they knew what it was like to. They have a ton of experience, but I mean, if they play someone that's not as good, I don't know. Like I think they could beat the Lakers probably in the series.
Who the Timberwolves are
Both,
OKC? True. I mean, when I think about the War or you said the Warriors or Lakers. I mean,
both.
even both. I honestly, when I think about both, I think either one of those teams can beat anyone.
Yeah,
But also, I also can see them losing to everyone. That's how much of a wild card they are to me.
I don't know. I feel like Steph. I don't know. His legacy is too great. He's not gonna go
Like
outside.
when I think I can't imagine LeBron and AD not being able to put it together to get 4 wins in a first round series.
They're gonna have to put together their knees first. Man.
I mean, they both played most of the season. Injuries have not been a problem. It's more so just been the question of outside of them who's going to step up today. And D'Lo's been responding pretty well in these past like 2 months. So I think now he just goes to the how's Austin Reeves, and he's been picking it up a little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we were talking about this a little bit before the pod, but there's only 4 games separating the 5 and 10 seed in the West, and then there's only 2.5 games separating the 4 and 8 seed in the East. So like, uh, one team has one bad, road trip, and you could find yourself from not only like